Alright guys, HyDra back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far, and only in the competitive Call of Duty scene do you get stuff like this going on. Our prediction yesterday that the Nadeshot tweet was not the last of the drama on this, sparked by the Dynasty podcast between Nadeshot and Crim. Nade had a few more words to say on stream. Crim then tweeted out a response, half apology, half doubling down, and now Nadeshot has pulled out of the tournament just starting tomorrow that Hitch has been putting on the Black Ops 2 throwback that Nadeshot and Crimsix were both due to attend. So much to get into today. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. So this began with, well, the Dynasty podcast a couple of days ago. And as Clay says, only in COD can you get the band back together and have it turn into this. Because, yeah, I know that Clay was hoping that Nadeshot would be attending this tournament this weekend. And the timing of all this has been, in some senses, very unfortunate. And look, I'd have loved to see Team Crimsix versus Team Nadeshot this weekend. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that. And we'll dive into the reasons over the coming minutes. Clay did also hint as well that potentially getting the FaZe team back together. So, you know, we're talking Clay, Attach, Zuma, and Enable. Could be a possibility at some point. But, yeah, so it all began with these comments from Crim that, well, Nadeshot believes are completely fabricated. Crim actually doubled down later and said, I said them from, you know, I got them from somewhere. I'm pretty sure what I said was true. So who knows? It was like 8 years ago at this point. And I think that inevitably, the fact that there was this Dynasty episode with no Nadeshot in attendance was always going to cause a bit of friction there, because clearly there's been some unresolved wounds, shall we say, from Nadeshot during this period, the way that he feels like he was treated by the players and by the fans. And you could argue that there should have been a very small period of this podcast where they say, well, yep, you know, Nade stepped down, Karma came in, they talk about it for like 2 minutes and they move on. That's not what happened. They went into quite some detail that the entire team, because Karma obviously wanted Nadeshot dropped because he wanted to be on the starting team, and all the other guys agreed, you know, because I think Nadeshot had maybe thought for years that it was Crim that got Nadeshot dropped, and Crim was trying to say, look guys, you all wanted him dropped too, right? And, you know, Nadeshot, I'm sure, wasn't really happy hearing that, especially once he saw this clip. And then on top of that, you then get Crimsix's supposedly fabricated story that is trying to blame Nadeshot for the result at the championship that season that they ended up losing, where, you know, you could well argue that his teammates should have said, you know, Crim, are you sure? Like, that's a valid excuse, even if that did occur. Like, you know, Crim's got to focus up maybe a bit more than that. So anyway, those are the comments that were said. We looked at them in detail yesterday, and Nadeshot then responded with this tweet that we saw, kind of saying, look, I'm not going to let his delusions be what you guys remember about our roster. So I thought, all right, this is not going to be the end of it. And as we saw as a result, there were lots of reaction to this. Nadeshot came out on stream, lots of support for him and what he's done for the scene on Twitter from the likes of Central and others. And absolutely so. Nadeshot gets discredited, not just in terms of how much he did for the scene, but also in terms of how good of a player he was, especially during the Ghost season, is, I think, highly underrated. And it was definitely a big part of why they won a lot at the start of Advanced Warfare. Before he stepped away, they made the change for Karma. And look, Nadeshot's always been an emotional guy. He's always worn his heart on his sleeve, and I think that's why, you know, he's so endearing to the community. And, well, this is another example. So he comes out on stream yesterday with a lot to say, to be honest, and you can't blame him, calling Crim an absolute moron, but he wins, so, you know, it is what it is. And then he doubles down on some other kind of topics as well. He also did mention the situation with the response from Scump and Formal, right? Formal did push back a little bit on what Crim said and said, well, you know, I never heard about that, but, you know, it's not like he would have heard about it because this supposedly happened. It's just a one-off conversation between Nadeshot and Crim, and what was meant to have been said is that Nadeshot said that he was going to be donating his winnings to charity if he did win, and, you know, apparently that happened. Nadeshot said it didn't happen. I don't know. Formal and Scum and Karma, they wouldn't have known anyway because apparently this is a private conversation. And Nadeshot is now looking back 8 years ago and saying that, you know, these guys are just taking turns beating the recollection that I have of what happened. And to be fair, all of their recollections of what happened like 8 years ago are probably all somewhat warped over time anyway. That's just how things tend to be. So, yeah, I think that inevitably this was going to cause more friction than it needed to. and, well, these are a few clips. Now, the whole Scump thing, there's a lot to say on that as well, and Scump actually responded to it, so I'm going to do that later today just because there's a lot to cover in this video already. But the key points he made in this was that this weekend's is the OpTic event, the Black Ops 2 Throwback Invitational that Nadeshot was going to attend with his team, and we'll see what that would have been in a second, with Hitch everything in Texas. So, you know, and Nadeshot was thinking about, well, you know, do I really want to go to this? Crim's going to be there, it's an OpTic event, the OpTic Dynasty just ripped into me for like a few minutes, I'm not happy about it, says that Crim's story is completely fabricated, and says that, look, Crim apologized via text for this, and we'll see part of that apology that hit the timeline in a second, but Nadeshot just wants to figure this out himself for the next couple of days before he actually responds.
Did I watch the OpTic Dynasty podcast yet? I have not, dude. I have not. And honestly, bro, the fact that I'm about to go to an OpTic event this weekend, I really don't want to watch it. Because I wasn't pissed off at all, dude. I really didn't care until everybody kept asking me about it. So, I don't know, man. Texas might be canceled. We'll see. We'll see where my mental's at. Haley's not going to like the sound of it, but, you know, we'll see how my emotions fly. You know, I thought I didn't care about something that happened 8 years ago, but now, dude, it's so provoking. Everybody's just, I had to deal with HBR. I had to deal with being the scapegoat on that team forever. And now I got to deal with this shit? Jesus Christ. Leave me alone. Leave me the f alone. Always take what Crim says with a grain of salt. Yo, Lazarus, I lived with the maniac for years. I appreciate it, bro, but I think I will figure this one out. We can't just give the guy a pass because, oh, he's trolling. Dude, Crimsix is a f***ing moron. But he wins, dude, so you got to tip it. But yeah, pretty f***ing stupid. They go on to win so much more, I get that. But then 8 years later, like, the 3 people that I can, like, say that I shared this memory with and we did it together, they go on, like, a 5-minute rant about how they didn't want me on the f***ing team. And then Crimsix makes up some bullshit story about why he was already checked and why he knew we weren't going to win the tournament. That is completely fabricated. So, like, it just took this awesome memory and accomplishment that I had with 3 other people, and I just felt like the boys were just taking turns just beating the living shit out of my recollection of what happened. Crimsix sent me a text. He apologized. He wants to get on the phone. Just being honest with you, I have not responded to him. I haven't tweeted him back. I have no desire to talk to him right now. You know, when I get over this myself, I'll gladly talk to him.
So people were bringing Hex into this as well, and there were loads of people reacting to this. Of course, our Nadeshot's so soft and all this, and we'll discuss that in a second. And then, like, Hex was brought in, and, like, I don't watch every video before it goes live. No one ever downplays the significance of my brother Nade who was to OpTic. You know, I don't control what Crim says. All this stuff. So it's all kicking off. And then Crim decided, all right, he'll do an apology. Now, it was a half apology, shall we say. He also starts out with making a video regarding the whole situation. Now, eventually, he actually doubled down and said, on a second note, I'm no longer making a video. I don't want to benefit from this drama any longer. To Nade, I sincerely apologize for all of this. My cell phone is yours whenever you want to talk. I'm truly sorry for causing this, which is probably all he should have said, to be honest. But he decided to come out with a big statement here, so we've got to get through it. I'm not going to do, like, AI Crimsix or anything today. So, you know, I apologize, Nade, for this comment. I haven't been able to talk to him about it yet because he doesn't want to speak, and you can understand it from Nade's point of view. On the Dynasty podcast, I brought it up as a clear my name sort of conversation, which is also in line with the theme of the podcast. It was my mistake to involve someone that wasn't in the room. It had no relevancy to the topic. I only said it because back then I was blamed for Nadeshot retiring. I've always wondered how people could reach that conclusion. Since then, on numerous accounts, Nade has publicly ridiculed me, and only me, for wanting him to get dropped, when I knew that in reality it was the entire team that did. So, you know, this is how Crimsix operates. I didn't say a word at the time because I'd rather take blame individually than throw my teammates under the bus collectively. Although, of course, that's what he goes on to do. The reality and the truth of the matter is that I respect the hell out of Nade, always have. Personally, I think we've clashed while teaming for 2 reasons, both of them being good reasons. We're the same person competitively, speaking with different situations, and when you mix it with we absolutely gave it our all, arguments with Nade always showed me he cared. In my mind, always held him higher than most because he literally has it all, yet he's dedicating everything he has to the team and to our common goal. Crim goes on to say that he openly admitted to playing terribly during Advanced Warfare Champs and even had his back on the HBR thing. This is the whole, you know, HBR drama with Nadeshot, right? If you guys are really unfamiliar with this, it's the classic COD meme. Nadeshot pulled out the HBR in Advanced Warfare Championship, despite the fact that the HBR A3 was a very good weapon in that game, and actually became really viable in the Search and Destroy community shortly afterwards. But because it wasn't the meta gun at the time, Nadeshot pulled it out for like 60 seconds on a Biolab hardpoint or something, and people roasted him because apparently that caused them to lose champs. And obviously it didn't. There were many other reasons at play, but it's the classic meme. And Crim says that he defended him on that, but Seth and Matt, Scum and Fall, remained silent. So he kind of is throwing them under the bus a little bit now as well. Now, why would I ever say that if I was the reason he was forced into retirement? All 4 of us know that it was not the reason why we lost. It became a meme because we were too mature to stop it. In comedy, try and downplay drama, etc., etc. It was our responsibility to at least try, and we didn't. I did not mean to pin blame solely on Nadeshot for that event or for checking me as a result of the reason why we lost. If anything, I'm mad at myself. The situation was similar to what happened with me and HyDra last year, so maybe there's a common trend here, but in reverse. Do I hate Nade and HyDra? Absolutely not, but when emotions are high, people make mistakes. So, you know, he kind of apologizes, but then he doubles down and says, and to close, if you honestly think I made up that entire conversation with Nade regarding champs being a tax write-off, you're giving me too much credit. It is far too random. Remove both the names attached to this situation and logically think about it. That conversation and those words were said to me. And this is what I said yesterday, I'm like, surely Crim can't have entirely fabricated this. I know that he says a lot of things that aren't true, but like, I don't see how he could have fully made this up. I don't know where he got it from. I don't know if it was some Nadeshot, but yeah, he's saying it must have come from somewhere. Either he's completely delusional, which is maybe what Nadeshot thinks. I don't know. I'll give a little bit of perspective and experiences, and the scene shames me as a liar. I don't hate or dislike Nade at all for his recent tweets, and if he doesn't want to attend the Black Ops 2 throwback because I'm there, then I'll gladly sit it out for him. So, you know, it's an interesting statement from Crim. I don't know if it was necessary to say all this, to be honest, but this is, you know, Crim wants to talk about his perspective, so sure. And while this is all going on, Nadeshot is grinding out to Immortal in Valorant, and then puts out his own video later in the day, basically saying, you know, he doesn't want to attend the Black Ops 2 throwback. He feels terrible that he feels this way, but this is how Nadeshot operates, right? His heart's always on his sleeve, and if he's, you know, been emotionally affected by something, he doesn't feel in a position to go to this event with Crim and with OpTic guys and everything in a couple of days' time. So, yeah, he's made the difficult decision, and he knows that, like, he shouldn't feel this way, but he does. And the whole point of this event is about men's mental health. That's what they're raising money for. That's the charity. So I personally think that people that are ridiculing Nade for this need to have a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror. But yeah, this is what Nadeshot has to say, and I'll share a couple of minutes of it.
All right, gentlemen, let's talk about Dallas this weekend, the Black Ops 2 throwback that Hitch and OpTic are throwing. So as you guys saw, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it already, I decided to back out and just sit this one out, stay home for the weekend. Now, I totally understand people's perspectives, saying that I'm being soft, I'm being emotional, I care too much about something that happened 8 years ago. And like, in a lot of ways, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I can't, like, I know, at least like the way that my brain works is, I know this shit is not that important, you know, to back out of the weekend. But for me right now, it is, man. I can't describe how or why I feel this way, but you know, my rational part of my brain is telling me like, brother, you're tweaking. And the other part is like, but that shit kind of made me sad. I don't know, brother. So the way that I look at it is R-Cities is a great replacement. And to be honest with you, this entire situation has just gotten so much bigger than I ever anticipated it to be. You know, I watched that podcast clip yesterday on stream and just had so many people asking me about it. And it was just one of those things, like hairpin trigger. Sometimes just get emotional, and I'm okay with that, man. That's just who I am. And I think that just means that I care a lot, and that shit was super important to me. So I'm not going to feel bad about the way that I feel. At the end of the day, man, like, without even trying to sound self-serving, like, you do not have to walk in my shoes. And so it's hard for you to understand how I feel, and that's just where my head's at. So I really, like, I don't have any ill will towards Crim. I actually accept his apology. This shit really does not matter at the end of the day. But my pride and my ego, just, like, disappointment, you know, just, it was a whole lot of shit going on in my head yesterday and today. So I just want to apologize to the entire community for having to try to compartmentalize and digest my Hitch, man. I'm sorry. I hope you have a great event. Crim, Formal, Seth, shit. I didn't expect it to be this. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of fucked up. Gentlemen, enjoy the weekend. Hope y'all have a fantastic tournament. And sorry again for canceling last second.
So it is a shame that it had to come to this, right? I mean, Crim makes the statement, Nadeshot's not happy, there's the back and forth, and Nade decides, you know what, it's probably for the best that I don't come along to this event. It's a difficult situation for all involved, and, well, we have the replacement. So the team was going to be Zuma, Methods, Attach, and Nadeshot, right? That was going to be Team Nadeshot. It was going to be really exciting. We were going to hopefully see a Nadeshot versus Crim battle at some point, but yeah, that's not going to be the case. Arsties is coming in instead, so this is the situation as it stands. These now are the new teams with Arsties instead of Nadeshot, and yeah, man, it's a shame how this has happened, but as I say, in COD, these things never seem to be too far around the corner. So that's pretty much all the explanation from what we have so far. I would like to think these guys will still get on and be able to have a proper conversation going forwards, but yeah, two sides of the story. To be honest, there's probably like 3 or 4 sides of this story. There's Crimsix's side, there's Nadeshot's side, there's what Crim now believes after what Nadeshot has said, and there's what actually happened, which could be an entirely different thing entirely. So yeah, very much enjoyed your thoughts. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.